My name is Nick. PayPal for 5 years, always within merchant services. So always help merchants that are utilizing our products and services to try to handle their inquiries and things of that nature. Today, the topic of discussion is cutting costs, or looking at card processing from different perspectives in order to determine what's best for a business model at hand. Here's how we're going to sort of look at that. For those of you that might be using a merchant provider like Wells Fargo, Chase Payment Tech, or any other merchant provider out there, there really is differences between their lower advertised rate, or what we would call a show rate, versus what is actually being assessed to your account, and what you're actually being charged for processing credit cards online. What we'll find through the course of the presentation, we'll talk a lot about hidden fees. You'll hear the same words from time to time. I do talk about interchange rates and things of that nature. So we'll talk about hidden fees that can cut into your margins and cut into your profits as a business. And then finally, we'll kind of wrap up the discussion on 10 questions you can ask your potential payment processor on what. And the questions are basically worded that it shows the value of PayPal's merchant processing for credit cards, and it will probably trigger on whether or not you want to consult with an account executive on your processing needs. And like she posted there in the chat, please post the questions in the chat or email them to alliance@x-cart.com. Be happy to answer any questions that I can on PayPal's merchant account, the products and services that we offer, or any pricing related questions as well. Presentation, but the number there is a number directly to PayPal if you'd like a consultation with one of our account executives. Just want to pause real quick. Is there any questions so far? If not, I'm going to kind of step into basically how PayPal gets paid and how much it does cost. So if any of you merchants out there already accept PayPal as a payment method, credit cards are handled the same way. We process the transaction for you, and we take the fee right when you accept that payment. So if you sell something for $10, we take our fee out, and we put a net amount of $9.50 into your PayPal balance. That's all we assess as far as a processing fee for you. How much that does cost is a flat percentage with PayPal. So we don't charge off the interchange rates. We don't back bill, or we don't assess any premiums to that. We just assess and basically charge our fee. That's basically how PayPal's model functions. As soon as you accept that payment, the fee is taken out at that point, and you're left with the net amount in your PayPal balance. And those funds can be withdrawn or used to make other purchases or pay other vendors, or however you need access to those. Determining how much your fees are going to be is based off of volume amount. That's a discussion that you would have with that consultation account executive. Typically, they'll ask for 3 months of processing statements, review what they can, and basically come back to you and say, we can save you money if you come with PayPal, or we may not be able to save you as much as we'd hoped. So we are upfront and honest about that. But it's basically analyzing your merchant processing statements and determining if we can cut those costs for you. I see a post from Marcelo. Definitely understand that, I guess, pain point, Marcelo, is that with PayPal transactions, there are some terms and conditions of use of data that may allow a buyer to try to get a refund through PayPal. I don't know if that's necessarily cost-related for this discussion, but definitely fill your you're paying there. We try to do our best on, taking care of all customers. In those poor instances where, a buyer gets his refund and you guys have to accept, a lot of cases that doesn't happen in the credit card world. They're not forced to return merchandise. They just get their refund and they're able to keep the merchandise. So we try to prevent that as much as possible. But definitely do understand that the scale's tipped in the buyer's favor a little bit more than the merchant at this point. So another question there, Anne-Marie, what are the reasons PayPal will freeze merchant accounts or funds? That's really determined. It could be determined on a variety of factors. I know risk would be involved if your business model, again, we look at it black and white sometimes. We try to contact, or it could be due to risk. It could be due to the fact that, we seem to get the same amount of complaints from somebody. You're not delivering merchandise on time, or you could have a partner vendor supplier issue that's causing the business model to fluctuate. It's a difficult decision, but I would say if you're told at the beginning that we're going to hold X amount of dollars as a reserve, it's likely due to just a variety of factors like business credit, business model, risk associated with processing those types of transactions. Well, really, for this discussion, when we're talking about credit card processing fees, PayPal's logic is simply put in this slide. We try to minimize the amount of fees that we charge so you can maximize your profits or margin that you have available. And really what we mean by minimizing fees, what we're doing is we're charging you that one flat rate, and that's all we're charging you. We're not taking into account any type of interchange or premium fee that could be assessed on the types of cards people process. This little picture here, it's just kind of a good indication that all cards are basically charged differently through a normal merchant account. And when we say types of cards, this one shows double miles, a double mile card. So that's a premium card that's going to be assessed a higher interchange rate through Wells Fargo or Chase payment back. All types of cards are going to get assessed an interchange rate for typical pricing through other merchant accounts. So it's if anyone searches the interchange rate, you can come up with a 25-page document that outlines specifically the types of fees that are going to be assessed on those types of locations. So it's when we talk about a show rate versus the actual cost rate, that's what we're talking about. Because I could come to you, someone from TSYS or from First Data or whatever processor that I'm talking about, I come to you and say I can offer you 1.75 plus interchange, and that sounds very attractive. But what we're basically saying is we're going to charge you 1.75 plus whatever the interchange rate applies to that card. So it turns out that a lot of times people will go with merchant providers thinking they're going to get assessed one fee and realizing that after premiums and interchange is assessed, I'm losing out on my credit card processing. I'm losing money that way. And that's what we really talk about when we talk about this slide here, the hidden costs associated with merchant processing. Everything looks nice and small, above the iceberg out of the water, but yet when we start talking about hidden costs, whether it's a qualified or non-qualified transaction, the additional interchange fees that can cost associated with processing that can occur. So really what we try to do at PayPal is make it very simple, charge you once, take our fee right away, and give you what's left so you can operate your business effectively. You put together 5 operational costs to consider, or how quickly do you access your money. A lot of people will like the fact that if they're already accepting PayPal, now that they know that we use their credit card, they have everything all in one account. being assessed a flat fee. So access to your money can be a consideration. With PayPal, you get the money right away. If you withdraw it to your bank, yeah, it can take a couple days, but you really have quick access and easy access to your funds. Another cost to consider is our merchant accounts are given the ability to use basic fraud filters or advanced fraud filters depending on their needs, and it can help them thwart internet fraud or stolen credit card fraud from their site. Also, PayPal is on your site. If you do accept PayPal, a lot of times those transactions are protected by what's known as seller protection. We're also looking at ways we can do that for credit card transactions as well. So it helps ease the merchant's mind on completing transactions or shipping merchandise because they know that they are protected. Easy integration. So XCard and PayPal are partners. We try to make it as simple as possible for you to turn on the solution within your XCard portfolio. And then by offering customers more payment options, I work on the merchant optimization team right now, and our research leads us to believe that the more payment options you provide a customer, it increases your sales and conversion rate from your site. I'm going to pause there just for a second and read this question by Scott. Give me just one moment.
Nick, I guess we should not interrupt the webinar with answering the questions. You can just continue your presentation and we will return to these questions later. We do have a specialist here from XCard sales team, Kirill, and he will answer this question later.
Okay. All right, great. We'll move on then.
Nick, we have a...
Okay, go ahead.
I just would like to make sure that our attendees can hear us. Could you please send a plus symbol if you can hear both Nick and me well, and a minus if you cannot hear Nick or if there is some problem with the sound? Okay, Mike, thank you. Excellent. In this case, let's continue. It's just a trouble with the connection on our side. Nick, please go on. Sorry for interrupting.
No, not a problem whatsoever. For those of you that are with me still,
Thank you for checking.
Talking about
Nick, will you please continue?
Solution. Okay, everybody still hear me? All right. So PayPal solution to credit card processing are these four main points.
It looks like the sound is gone again. I see a green symbol next to Nick. Oh, it's just fine. That's great. In this case, please continue.
Okay, as simple as I was stating, our solution to credit card processing is offering simple flat rate pricing. It allows merchants to actually budget for this cost because you actually should know generally what we don't apply these additional fees on the cards. We take our flat rate price and that's it. There's no any additional hidden fees with credit card processing. As I mentioned before, as soon as you capture that payment or run that payment, fee is taken and you receive the net amount. The only other fees that could be associated with credit card processing is if you have a chargeback fee and there's a fee that's assessed if you lose a chargeback. But other than that, processing-wise, as soon as the fee is assessed, that is the only fee that PayPal will take out. And the nice thing about some of that, when we go through these questions, you'll actually see some more value to PayPal's merchant account. The third one there, easy integration. Because we are a partner with XCard, we should make it very simple for you to go ahead and turn the solution on. And again, you're dealing with trusted providers and trusted partners with PayPal and XCard. Sorry, it looks like someone can't hear. Miko, can you hear? Well, I'm sorry for Miko here, but I'm going to continue on to the 10 questions you can ask a potential processor. And basically, again, it's going to reiterate some of the things I've already discussed. But if we look at these one by one, I'll try to put the value proposition of PayPal in reflection to these questions. The first one is, what are your rates on specialty cards? Again, we're talking specifically about interchange. We're talking about business cards, rewards cards, signature cards. All those types of cards can get assessed an interchange or a premium based on your processor. PayPal does not do that. Regardless of what card, we roll up our gateway, our processing fee, and all of our payment fee all into one flat rate. Number two, what are the rates when I key in the credit card number or process it without a credit card security code? So what this question really reflects on is, do you charge me a downgrade fee, or do you charge me a card not present transaction? And do you charge me a non-qualified rate if I process without a card security code? So again, all these types of things can affect how you're actually being assessed by your merchant provider. Again, PayPal will not assess any downgrade, card not present fee. They won't charge you a premium or like an upcharge for processing without card security code. That's more along the lines of being approved through the service, and normally we don't even like merchants to process without that type of information. So, number three, do you charge additional gateway fees and/or authorization fees? Again, if you're familiar with how merchant banks provide the service, they typically say, go find a payment gateway. PayPal has PayFlow gateway. There's another competitor out there, advertised.net or CyberSource. There's other competitors out there that provide gateways, but typically what you then have an account and a monthly bill from the gateway provider, and then you have an account and monthly bills for your processing through your merchant provider. So there's two separate invoices that you're paying for in those types of situations. Number four, what fees are charged when I refund a transaction? Typically, your gateway provider is going to charge you for that. Your merchant provider might also assess a fee for issuing a credit. PayPal will actually credit you our fee when you issue a refund through our system. So if you get charged the standard rate of 2.9% plus 30 cents a transaction, we will actually credit you the 2.9% that was assessed and issue that credit along with your refund at no charge. Number five, is there a contract term or are there early termination fees? With another provider, you might be locked into a 2 to 3 year contract. There might be a clause in there that states early termination or out fee is this amount. With PayPal, the service just for credit card processing costs $30 a month, and you can cancel at any time. Moving down to question 6, are there withdrawal fees or transfer fees? We don't charge you a fee to gain access to your funds. Is there a statement fee or web access fee? Believe it or not, merchant providers will charge you for this. We don't have a fee for that in our structure. Number 8 is a little gray, but I will cover this very thoroughly here. Is there a minimum monthly processing requirement? I see that question and I think in terms of, let's say I sign a contract. Let's say I promise to bring $300,000 worth of volume a month, and I dip below that. Well, that clause allows another merchant provider to charge you a premium because you didn't hit that requirement. With PayPal, there's no requirement, but there is a volume discount. And if you go below those threshold, pricing could fluctuate based on that volume. So we don't charge a premium because you don't hit a monthly volume limit, but we certainly could affect your next month's processing if you don't meet certain requirements to stay in the pricing category that you're in. We could certainly talk more about that one after I get through the next two. Number 9, do you have an annually or monthly fee? PayPal for access for this product is a $30 monthly fee, but there's no other annual or any other monthly fee associated with the account. And then number 10 is other PCI compliance fees. We don't charge fees, but we do require merchants to go through a vendor to certify their compliance. Our partners can charge you anywhere from $79 to $127, I believe, are the two prices that we had for an annual PCI scan and SAQ to be filled out. Basically, one of the last slides here is we kind of put it into a problem statement and a solution statement. So the problem that most merchants face is that pricing scenarios are too good to be true. Or it may mean you're spending a lot of time analyzing how much your costs are, or it takes too long to do that. So our solution is that these are low, predictable, and easy to understand. Again, if you have to budget for this amount, our solution makes more sense. You should know what you're going to pay throughout the course of a year. The effective rate is higher than the advertised rate. Again, we're going to tell you what your fee structure is up front, and that's what we're going to charge. We're not going to charge that interchange rate. Plus, we are very big. We are one of the largest trusted secure payment platforms out there. And we now have 152 million active users. Another problem statement that some people have, switching providers can be disruptive to their business. Well, with XPart, we try to make that as simple as possible. And basically plugging in just a couple factors into your admin panel should be able to allow you to process with PayPal effectively once you're approved for that service. But basically, I just kind of want to throw out there that credit card pricing is a difficult thing to understand. If you look at an interchange document or if you look at a contract from a merchant provider, it's difficult to actually see what your rate will be. It can fluctuate up and down. With PayPal, we try to make that as simple. Don't try to confuse you and take our payment fee right at the beginning. And again, if anyone on the phone has a merchant account with PayPal and uses maybe Express Checkout or just the standard flow of PayPal, you know how the process works. We take our fee, you're good to go, you get your money, and that's how the merchant account functions. So if anyone's out there ever thought about moving to PayPal, we can do a free cost analysis and a consultation, and whether or not we can help you save money on your credit card processing. And that's what this number here at the end of the presentation. That's a direct line to our merchant services account executives, and they'll perform the consultation for you.
Thank you, Nick, for your presentation. I guess we should proceed. You have not finished yet. So, have I interrupted you? I'm sorry if I did so. Please go on.
I was just going to say, it looks like Anne-Marie had a question or a comment. She said, I was not able to get a premium account, so I had to use a standard account. Would it be advantageous to retry? Anne-Marie, I guess to answer that question, if you're still using a standard business account or you're using just a standard account, look to upgrade to a premier or business account. If you're talking about pricing, you'll want to log in and click on fees to apply for the merchant rate discount. Does that answer your question? To reword the question for me, Anne-Marie. I'm going to jump to Scott. Scott, does our standard PayPal account volume factor into our merchant discount? So if you have PayPal already, Scott, and you add credit card processing, the volume will be put together and the discount will apply together. Emery, I'm reading your comments. I definitely, I guess I'm sorry for the frustration with PayPal. I don't, there's certain things with the business model that they may approve and they may not approve.
Well, we have one more question posted
transactions.
previously. So the question was about PayPal Express checkout and ability to use it without X payments. The question was by Scott Green. I'm giving a mic to X-Card sales representative Kyle or Kirill. He's about to answer this question for you.
Hello, everyone. You can use PayPal Express definitely without X payments or any other intermediate software at any point. And I guess Scott was referring to PayPal Payments Pro, I guess, that he has been using in his older version of X-Card, which now, after the update of the PCI DSS requirements, has to be used through our intermediary X payments software. This payment method, PayPal Payments Pro, does require X payments. However, PayPal Payments Standard, PayPal Payments Advanced, and PayPal Express Checkout that are also integrated with X-Card, they can work directly without any intermediary or additional fees required from our side or from any other side.
Thank you, Kirill. Scott, please confirm if Kirill answered your question. If not, please clarify. We are also going to contact you by email with further explanations if necessary. And now let's proceed with the further questions posted. Nick, I guess all the questions are about PayPal so far, so please handle the questions one by one.
Absolutely. I saw the question, let's see, from Bob Pierce for online sales. He's asking, is there a reason to use Pro at $35 Canadian instead of Advanced at $10 Canadian? Is that, hopefully I'm answering or reading the question properly. I did post there, Bob, that with Pro, you would get the feature of virtual and enter a credit card on a form with PayPal and process a transaction directly with that. Advanced does not give you virtual terminal as a feature. Scott has a question, is PayPal Express PCI compliant? It absolutely is, Scott. That is handled all on our servers. So when someone clicks the PayPal Express button, they're directed over to PayPal on our servers to authenticate themselves and directed back over to you to complete that transaction. So it's a fully PCI compliant product. Let's see. I hope I don't butcher this name. Jatine. If I use PayFlow Pro and X-Card Pro version, allowing each provider to configure their own merchant account, how does the PayPal fees work? Are you talking, I just want to clarify that question, are you talking about just using our PayFlow Gateway product with your own merchant account?
Well, Nick, let me please clarify. We have a special multi-vendor solution, X-Card Pro. By default, it does not support merchant accounts for provider, so I guess Jatin has some kind of custom modification with the merchant account assigned to every vendor of his mall. So I'm not sure why Jatin is asking. But in this case, Jatin, if every provider has his own account, I wonder why you as an admin are considering some kind of fees. I guess the fees will be applied to the merchant, I mean to vendors, not to the store admin. Thank you.
Scott also had a question here. Does Express include Virtual Terminal? It does not. Virtual Terminal is a separate product. It's typically bundled with our PayPal Payments Pro product that is available, I believe, it's available in US, Canada, UK, and Australia. Brian says this might be a question for, is it Kyle? If I'm using Website Payments Pro on my existing site now, when I move to XCart, I need to use X Payment.
Yes, you do. Basically, I would actually ask you, John, to describe PayPal Payments Advanced compared to PayPal Payments Pro, because for PayPal Payments Advanced or Website Payments Pro, for Website Payments Pro, aka PayPal Payments Pro, you do require X payments because the credit card handler information is handled on the merchant side, being and PayPal Payments Advanced, all the data is handled on PayPal's side. However, in both cases, you are able to keep your customers on your checkout page, which is the main advantage of both the methods.
Okay, Scott, I just answered your question there. If you are approved for Pro with PayPal, we do offer the ability to log into PayPal.com, and you can use a virtual terminal screen there. If you're approved for Pro, I would say that using it on your XCart platform as well is an ideal situation, that all that money comes into your one PayPal account. I kind of jumped into this late, so I don't know how X Payments factors into that, but that's probably another question Kyle can answer for you.
Well, Scott is writing about his poor experience with X Payments. Actually, recently we released X Payments 2.1. We also updated X Payments connector based on suggestions from our community members. So I should say that this very software was significantly improved. So it probably makes sense to reconsider this solution or try it again if possible. And also Kirill says that he's going to contact Scott directly by email too. We have Scott's email address. So this very question will be addressed additionally after the webinar. Does anybody have any questions? I cannot see any questions in my mailbox, so I guess all the questions will be posted here if any are left. Oh, I see. And Marie has one more question, so let's just give some time. Nick, will you please continue? And I'm going to publish the record of this webinar in our YouTube channel in a separate blog post and also make a separate newsletter for you. Also, Brian is asking Kirill to send additional info. Okay, I am suggesting that we will just grab all the questions from this discussion, share them with Nick. He will answer the questions related to PayPal. We will handle XCart related questions, and these very questions and answer session will be sent out to you guys together with the webinar record. This is going to take several business days. but you will receive all the information in written form. And of course, we're very happy to clarify whatever questions by email. So right now you can see the email, alliance@x-card.com. I'm sorry, I will receive this email and redirect it to the correct person, or just call to PayPal representative for PayPal related questions. And I guess we answered all the questions, right? Nick, do you have something to add? Besides thanking our audience for spending their time with us. Thank you, Mike. So, Nick, do you have something to add?
Yeah, if anyone else has any other questions, I mean, they'd be happy to answer anything. Doesn't have to be pricing related. You know, if there's horrible perceptions about our merchant accounts, you know, I can, you know, address any question that you might have. We're just trying to make it simple, and for those that already accept PayPal, you know, having all of your volume come into one account typically, you know, helps merchants succeed a little bit easier. Understanding that they can now budget for their cost of processing credit cards is another key factor. But in most cases, if we review a processing statement or a couple months worth of processing statements, PayPal will be able to determine whether or not we're able to save you money. And that's being, you know, upfront and honest with it. So by all means, if anyone is interested, please dial that 877-455-1481. You'll be connected with an account executive who will review your processing and give you a consultation.
Excellent. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for the opportunity to discuss, and you know, let me know if you have any additional questions.
And I hope to see all you guys next time, because we are preparing another webinar with PayPal already. So see you next time and have a great day.